Here's a segment from the latest edition of St. Charles Parish Today, a monthly local talk show.
He worked for St. Charles Parish for 27 and a half years, serving first in the Department of Wastewater and ultimately retiring as an equipment operator in the Department of Public Works. He was named the parish's Outstanding Employee of the Year for 2012 and won a seat on the St. Charles Parish Council the year after. With me today to talk about his progress in his district is District 4 Councilman Billy Woodruff. Billy, I want to thank you for coming on. This is your first time on the show, but you've actually been with the Parish Council for a few years now.
Yes.
And before that, you actually retired with the parish with 27 and a half years of experience.
Yes, it was a good time with the parish. I enjoyed my time working with them. It was a good experience, and it actually helps out with being on the council now, because there's a lot of things that being on the council I'm aware of that Public Works did and Public Works took care of, and also a lot of stuff that it familiarized me with all the pump stations and the drainage areas and the problems we had. So it gave me a good background.
Yeah, as you actually came into the game with a host of experience, at least infrastructure-wise.
Right.
But we sat down last week and we talked about a number of things that you're working on in your district, and it's an extensive list. So let's just go through the list. We've got the Cortez pump station.
Yes, that's something that's been needing an upgrade for a while. It was, I don't know how far back it was built, but it was in kind of disrepair. It was just wore out, and it needed quite a bit of upgrade. And that's part of one of the drainage projects that we've had up the bayou. I also had a canal that runs behind everyone's home that leads to the Randolph pump station that we had cleaned out for better drainage back there. And then this also ties in with the Cortez pump station also.
Is that the number 10 canal, the drainage?
That's
another project I have on the list.
Project, yes.
Okay, so we've got the drainage work on number 10 canal. What exactly is going on there? Because I know they installed some culverts.
That's pretty much the major drainage canal that goes through Green Acres and all that area back of Gosh. And it was in bad need of being to be cleaned out. There were a lot of blockages, a lot of trees, debris that falls in, and even there's some times where people, to cut their grass, they throw their clippings in there. And all this tends to plug the canal up and hurt drainage. So they went in there, Public Works went in, they cleaned the canal out, they cut the trees in that were blocking stuff, and also any trees that would be potentially hazardous later on. And they just recently finished installing box culverts at the end of the number 10 canal. They had...
And they're huge, right?
Right, they're huge. It's going to really affect drainage a lot. It's going to improve it a whole lot, because the round culverts they had before, they would collect debris. I mean, anything floating down the canal gets in front of these round culverts, and it partially blocks them, and it slows down the drainage. But with these box culverts, everything just passes completely through now. So it's going to greatly improve drainage back there. Okay,
so here's some other projects that you and the parish have been working on. The walking track in Desalmans.
Yes.
What's going on with that?
We had that recovered. It's been there for quite a while. I actually worked on that when I was with Public Works. I did all the dirt work over there, the leveling it, the dozer work and all. And they put the walking track in, and there was a few places where it was holding water and starting to crack, so we had it resurfaced and all. And that was good cooperation there with the administration and all. I mean, when I asked for it, they had no problem.
The playground in Parity. What's going on there?
One of the things I'm most proud of. I'm really proud of that. Parity was the only place in St. Charles Parish, the only community that did not have a playground. Every other community had their own playground. Parity had never had one. And there was a problem money-wise, because, I mean, we just didn't have the money in the budget to go out and purchase land and build a playground and all. So started looking around. And I got this idea because the library had about an acre and a half of land that was being unused. It was just green space. And I said, if I can sit down with Leanne from the library and Dwayne from Recreation, and we can come up with something that we can work together with, because we already own the land. We don't have to buy it. We didn't have to build a parking lot. We have a parking lot there at the library. We're already paying insurance on the property. We're already paying upkeep on the property. All I got to do is put equipment there.
Right.
So I had learned from Councilman Benedetto you could bank your money from year to year, because that's how she got her work done with the on
The spray park.
spray park and all. So I pay attention and I learned from her. And I didn't want to have to wait 4 years to build this thing. So that's why I got together with the library and recreation and all. And for $40,000, we got a playground. I mean, how cheap is that? I mean, we didn't have to buy land, anything. I mean, we just had to buy equipment and install it. And by having the library participate in it, they got to help choose some of the equipment and how much space they wanted to give up and where they would like to see it put on the property and all. And it was a benefit, and everybody worked together, and it just worked out great. I'm really pleased with it. I'm very proud of that project.
Yeah, it's nice. Okay, so you had an interesting story about the sunset pumps. Tell me about that.
Yeah.
And this comes from your knowledge of just being associated with pump stations and being an equipment operator.
This was something that I recognized. One of the pumps that they wanted to put in, I didn't understand the design on it because it looked strange. They actually had the hoses and all with the oil running through it below the suction head, and usually that's on top of it. So I did some digging and found out it was an experimental pump. I called the people in Lafourche Parish, the head of public works over there, and I asked them about it because I heard they had a couple. He told me they're trash, they constantly break because of the design, and then you have an environmental problem then because of the oil. So now you have a cleanup project going on besides fixing your pump. He told me Jefferson Parish also had a couple of them, so I called the people in Jefferson Parish. They told me the same thing. They had them for a year, they got rid of them because they were trash. They just constant problems. So I brought it to the attention of Sam Scholler and the administration and all. And I even had a guy I knew from Houma who's in the pump business come in and talk to us one night at a council meeting and explained it to him. And we got rid of that pump. We got something that works now, something we're not going to have an environmental problem with. No cleanup, no nothing, so we're good to go there now.
That's good to hear.
But it was because of my knowledge of pumps and off and public works also. So
another project you have listed is the boat launch repair in Desalmans.
yeah.
What did we repair there?
Well, what had happened, there were some bolts sticking through the boards and all. You know, when people would pull up to the dock to pick up their boat or even launch their boat, any wave action would beat it against the dock, and these bolts would scratch the boats up. A few of them even put holes in it. So we had bumpers put over them to where it would, instead of hitting these boats, you would hit the rubber bumpers and all, and protects your boat, keeps it from being scratched and damaged in any kind of way.
School lights in Desalmans.
Yes, another project. I figured that was a good way to get my foot in the door. They should have had school lights there a long time ago. Actually, that's going to be a project coming up in the next month or so. I've been working with Cade Rogers from the school board. And him and I worked pretty hard with DOTD. We got the approval now so we can start construction on them. We're going to have the flashing yellow school lights. One of the problems I saw in there too was, I mean, we've never had them before, and we do have school buses, teachers, parents, and all dropping kids off. And we have the deputies out there every morning. But you're asking these guys to step out in sometimes 70-mile-an-hour traffic to stop traffic for these buses.
Right, it's a little dangerous.
Yeah, and it is dangerous for them, so this will actually help them also. And then it's being so close to the bayou, it's pretty dense fog area sometimes. So people coming through there, you know, in the fog sometimes may not see the deputy or something, so this will actually protect the deputies and the school buses. So that was something I worked on, and I figured that's getting my foot in the door. Once I got that, maybe I can get a light.
Long-term goal.
Long-term goal.
Getting that light.
Yes.
Okay, you also mentioned the bathrooms at the playground in Parish.
Yes, that was actually in Desalmans.
Desalmans, I'm sorry.
Yeah. They had portalets over there. And
we all know those aren't fun.
yeah, I mean, let's face it, if you clean the company comes out and cleans the portalet on Monday, it's still nasty on Tuesday. And, you know, I wanted to do something. That was one of my campaign promises, that I would try to get a bathroom over there. I have one coming. My only problem right now is South Central Planning. You know, they want to know how you can anchor it down. They want it on a cement slab. They got all their conditions and all, but the bathroom is purchased. It just hasn't been delivered yet. But it's very nice. It's going to have place, you know, the lavatory and all. You can wash your hands. It's going to have the hand dryers where you can, you know, they'll blow dry your hands and all. So I mean, men and women's side, it's going to be very nice, and it looks nice. It kind of fits the area because it's kind of like a fish scale type thing. So it kind of fits the Zalman's area a little bit.
We've touched on this, but many of the things that we listed, they're public works and infrastructure and recreation type things. How would you say your experience as being an employee of Public Works has helped you?
Oh, tremendously. Knowing how Public Works operates and gets things done, it's helped me out. And then also knowing the location of all the pump stations and having worked in all of them before. As a heavy equipment operator, I was there even on a cherry picker pulling pumps, or excavators cleaning bar screens, or just, you know, even helping the pump mechanics change out motors and stuff. I mean, been to every one of them, so I knew where some of that was, because
You probably know everybody that works on all the different things too.
oh yeah.
How do you, and you told me this when we met, you have a very specific way of keeping track what needs to be fixed in your community. How do you do that?
Yes, at least once a month, I ride every street in my district, and I look for things. Instead of having to wait until somebody calls me and says, oh, I have a problem here, or can you have this done, you know, potholes, trees, whatever, I ride my area. You know, I look for it and I make notes, and if something I see needs to be done, I call it in as a work request. And then also during rainstorms, sometimes we got a heavy rain, I want to see where the problems are firsthand. I want to see how the drainage is going. So I get my raincoat and my white boots, and you know, I go out and I look for problems, and then this way I can solve them before it becomes a bigger one. So I work at this. I really, you know, take pride in what I do, and I take it seriously, and this is why I do that. I go out and I look.
You mentioned to me that the parish president and the director of public works both served as councilmen. Both served as councilmen before. How do you, and you mentioned that helped you.
Oh, it does.
How does that help?
They've all sat in this chair before, and by them being councilmen, they know what we face, what we have to deal with, both with the public and with different things on the job. And
well, they probably know what it's like to get the calls.
they know, yeah, they do. And that was one of the best things Larry did, in my opinion, was hire Snooky Fauché, because Snooky was a councilman before. He knows what we go through, because he had to do the same thing himself. And then also he's been an administrator, you know, with Valero and all, so he knows how to handle people. He knows how to deal with people. I think it was a great move when he hired Snooky, you know. So I'm really pleased with that, and you can work with him. He works well with the council. Larry does. In fact, the whole administration works well with the council. I've always
see that because all the things in your list have gotten done.
Right.
And these are all things that you and Public Works worked on together.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with the administration. I think they've done a great job. I think they work well with all the councilmen, and it gets a lot accomplished, you know, because, and like I said, it's a big help because they've been councilmen before, so this is a big help.
Is there anything else that you're working on in District 4 that's coming up? You can preview for us, things that your goals are?
Well, I'm still working to improve drainage in certain areas. One of the things that kind of holds you back a little bit is manpower. I have everything from the bingo hall to Bayou des Allemands. Bayou Gosh, Parody, Boutique, des Allemands, it's a big area. I have one crew that takes care of that area. And these guys do a fantastic job. They're hard workers, they do good work. Anytime I call in a work request and they take care of it, the job is done, to my satisfaction, it's done very well. And good crew. every now and then I'll take them to lunch.
Well, if there's nothing else, I'd love having you on.
Well,
And honestly, your track.
I got one other thing there. A couple of those drainage
See,
projects
this
I had
list goes
done.
on, everybody.
The Mare in Des Allemands.
Yes.
This was an area that's always overgrown and stuff, and it hadn't been cleaned in quite a while. But this drains a lot of the Des Allemands area to what they call the Tippy pump station. And we had that cleaned out, and now this area drains a lot better because there were some problems in some areas with standing water. Now it gets out a little easier. So I like that. That's good. And then I had another problem in Booty where there was, back when I don't know when it was done, but there from a catch basin in the road on Myrtle Street, there was a set of culverts that ran through some residents' yards to the canal in the back, and it drained that because you couldn't have an open ditch there to drain it. Well, these culverts over the years started to rot, and you would have erosions and all, and it was starting to erode under the people's slab. So I was able to get that changed out, all new culverts put in, and stop the erosion, and hopefully these people's slab didn't crack. Yeah, but like I said, I got quite a few projects that I've worked on, and I'm really surprised at how much I've gotten done.
It's been
in the first
only
year.
been a year.
Yeah, it's only been a year in this.
In this district for you, yeah.
Yeah, and I told my wife, I said, everything that I said I would do in my campaign, I've gotten accomplished in my first year. I said, what am I going to do for the next 3 years? And she goes, I think you'll find something.
Well, I think riding around once a month, you
Yeah.
keep finding little things
Yeah.
that need to be fixed and addressed.
So, yeah, because like I said, I take it seriously. I take this as a job. And sometimes I wonder, how people who actually have a day job find the time to do this and do it properly. But,
Yeah.
we do. We have a good council.
And make it
and we
work.
work as a team. And not only that, I think as a council, we've come together, not just as a team, but I think we're more family now. And I think being a family, we work even better than a team. So really proud of everybody else I serve with.
Yeah, well, I mean, the work shows it does. So, well, look, I want to thank you for coming on.
All right, well, thank you.
We'll have you back again soon.
Okay, appreciate it.
Look for the entire episode at www.scptoday.com or on SCP TV.